The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. Those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day that Noah entered the ark. They did not know until the flood came and carried them all away. So it will be also at the coming of the Son of Man. 2 men will be out in the field. One will be taken, one will be left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill. One will be taken, one will be left. Therefore, stay awake, for you do not know on which day your Lord will come. Be sure of this, if the master of the house had known the hour of night when the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and not let his house be broken into. So too you also must be prepared, for at an hour you do not expect, the Son of Man will come." The Gospel of the Lord. You know the time. It is the hour now for you to awake from sleep. You know the time. In the Gospel, Jesus is talking about the end time, about the Son of Man coming back at the end of time. But in his letter to the Romans, St. Paul is drawing us not of the vision of the end of time. He draws us to now, to the present time. You know the time. It is the hour now for you to wake from sleep. It is so easy to be put to sleep in the world. We can be distracted. So many things that distract us. Little gadgets, computers, iPhones, sports, work, some kind of recreational activity, hobbies, all kinds of things can put us to sleep. All of them in and of themselves are good, but they can put us into a dreamland, which we're not paying any attention. You may have had the experience of you're doing something you're intent on. A long time can pass. You sort of come to yourself and say, whoa, where'd that time go? But that can happen to us on a long-term basis. The world has many things to distract us, many things to put us to sleep. And so on this first Sunday of Advent, we are called by Jesus to be awake. Don't be asleep, be awake. Be awake. We are preparing ourselves for the celebration of the coming of the Lord at Christmas time. Baby Jesus came in place and time over 2,000 years ago in Bethlehem, placed in a manger. Jesus will come at the end of time, as we heard in the Gospel. But as St. Paul points out, Jesus is also now coming to us. Now is the time. Now is the time to be awake. Not later, but now. To be awake for the coming of the Lord. Something in the world that can put us to sleep and distract us from preparing for Christmas is called consumerism. Consumerism. The definition of consumerism is the propensity to consume and keep consuming. Just don't consume once. Keep doing it over and over and over again. It's like an addiction. Keep feeding it. It is the drive to buy and own more stuff, and defines one identity to what they own. I buy a fancy car. Makes me a big shot. Puts me above everybody because they don't have a fancy car. Or I can buy a big house, best in the neighborhood. That's part of me. I'm part of this big house. Or I can buy clothes or jewelry. I can buy sports equipment, the best made. I can buy all kinds of stuff that it gets all caught up in our identity. It's who we are because we have that stuff. We have a propensity or an inclination to buy more stuff. We just keep it up. It's a habit. Buying, consuming more and more. Friday was Black Friday, wonderful name, in which I understand, although I wasn't there, the malls were stuffed. Parking lots filled with cars. People all going to buy stuff. Stuff, more stuff. Stuff maybe they didn't even need. You might meet someone coming out of the box store wheeling along a 75-inch flat-screen TV. You might ask him, do you have a TV? He'll say, sure. He'll say, well, how big is it? He says, well, it's 60 inches. Does it work? Yes. Why did you need this one? It was on sale. So now we have a 75-inch TV for this gentleman that he doesn't need, but he bought it because it was on sale. Consumerism. Buying more stuff. And the culture keeps feeding us with that we want something and we should go get it over and over again. There's a comic that talked about stuff in our house. We have a tendency to buy bigger houses, not because we need them, except that we need it for our stuff. We have so much stuff, now we need a bigger house. Just think of your own homes. What's in your closets? Can you even get the car in the garage? How about up in the attic? Can you get up there with so much stuff? It's just piled on top of each other. Clothes we don't wear, coats we don't need, gadgets, knickknacks, little things that you bought for the kitchen and have used once. But we're driven by this wanting to buy more stuff. And it can cloud our preparation for Christmas. Rather than preparing our minds and hearts for the coming of the Lord at Christmas, we find ourselves at the mall. That crowd, standing in line, maybe for hours, to get something that we probably really didn't need it, but it was on sale. So I have to have it. We buy gifts for our family, for our friends for Christmas. Wonderful idea. It's a symbol and an indication of the love that we have for them. But the bigness is in the love, not in the gift. We shouldn't buy gifts for people to impress them. We should buy a little gift as a sign of our love for them. The love's big, the gift is small. I hate shopping at the mall. Can't stand it. I hate the lines. It's just such useless activity for me. I can get online and buy gift cards. I can do all my Christmas shopping in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Well, maybe 10. So what I think of a loved one. Say, if I was going to go to the mall, how much would I spend on them? And whatever that is, that's the amount of the gift card. So I send it to them, and then they go get what they want. Something they maybe really needed, rather than me just buying stuff for them to take back. When I was growing up, every year my dad would buy my mom a Christmas present. In all of my growing up days, that woman took them all back. Everyone, without exception. On December 26th, my mom's and what used to be Myron Frank's taking back the present my dad gave her. It was the wrong size, it was the wrong color, it was the wrong fashion, it was something else she wanted. She didn't keep any gift he gave her. He'd go out and walk the streets and go into stores and stand in line and buy her this thing. That, on 26, she took back. So I learned from that. Don't waste your time buying things for people, things they don't want or don't need. Buy them something that they need, like a gift card. People say, oh, that's impersonal. I don't know, if somebody gives me some money so I can go out and buy something I really need, that seems really personal. It gives me control over what I get. So we should think small when it comes to gifts. Not in amounts of money, but have them be simple gifts. Simple. And it shows our love. And not be hounded by this consumerism. Just buy more and more and buy more and more out of habit. When I was in Astoria, as pastor at St. Mary's Star of the Sea Parish, the staff and I would go out to eat once a week. It's a small town, you just walk around. It's easy to get to places up and down the hills. And one of our favorite restaurants was a Chinese restaurant. One time we went to lunch, and so we had our nice lunch, and we were sitting around the table, several staff and me. And it was time to open the fortune cookies. So we did. Everybody got one, passed them around. And so we opened our fortune cookies. I didn't say anything for a while. People going around reading their fortune cookies. You know, it says like, learn Chinese and then something else. But somebody looked at me and said, you're not saying anything. What's going on? And I said, well, I got an amazing fortune cookie. And I'm thinking about it. What my fortune cookie said was, it is not the person who has little. It is not the person who has little, but the person who needs more, who is poor. It's not the person who has little, but the person who needs more, who is poor. They're never satisfied. They're constantly getting stuff. And so it's a lesson for all of us as we look forward to this season of Advent, prepare for the coming of the Lord, to resist that temptation about consumerism, just buying stuff. Get nice gifts, indication of your big love in a little gift, and then spend the time getting ready for the coming of the Lord in your life. Meditate on Scripture, say your prayers, take a nap, take care of yourself. Don't expose yourself to the flu out in the mall. Stay home. Buy stuff online or go to smaller stores. Go to the little people. And in that way, it gives us an opportunity in our lives during these next 4 weeks to really prepare for the coming of Jesus in our life. This time of preparation is a time of conversion. It's a time of change. It's a time of expectation. So that when Christmas comes, Jesus can come to us in a new way, in a way we've never experienced Him. So rather than giving ourselves over to consumerism, we can give ourselves over to preparation for the coming of the Lord.